Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me today. It's Allan Laboucan with the Rocks and Stocks News Show. We've got one of our regular guests in Ewan Downie from i-80 Gold, coming off a couple really big news releases. One was some update on drilling at Hilltop and a teach-in talking about some great targets. And then not long after that, they announced that they're taking over another sponsor of the show, Paycore Minerals. Ewan, you've been a busy guy lately.
Yeah, things have been crazy so far this year, Al.
Would you want to talk about first the drilling and the teaching or the deal with Paycore?
I will talk a bit about the drill results and the teach-in because they kind of go hand in hand. We mid last year we started our generative exploration at the Ruby Hill property, and since that time we've now made multiple new discoveries. We made a gold discovery, and we had made multiple base metal or polymetallic discoveries. And the Hilltop zone results continue to impress. We continue to step out. We just announced as part of that teach-in that we hit another lens along the Hilltop fault, or what we think is another lens. We're just going to complete some additional drilling. And then we also, during that Hilltop presentation, we showed the geophysical targets that we're testing, and we've got some really compelling large-scale targets, and we've drilled one, and we did hit CRD mineralization. That one we're waiting for assays. So we're pretty excited about the property. It's really coming together well, and truly Ruby Hill has become our flagship asset.
And is that the 4H geophysical anomaly you were talking about in the teaching?
Yeah, the 4H one, where we have what appears to be a coincident MT conductor with an IP anomaly associated nearby. And there was an old homestake hole in the area that reported what we think is CRD mineralization as well. So we just started drilling that area, and we're liking what we're seeing in the first few holes of that target.
You know, Ewan, a quote you made in that news release really stood out to me, and I think it helps tell the story here. You said, and I quote, ongoing drilling in the new Hilltop discoveries continue to display grades that rank amongst the highest in any new discovery worldwide. 3 target areas along the Hilltop fault structure were tested by drilling in 2022, all of which intersected polymetallic CRD and or skarn base metal mineralizations. These deposits are located in close proximity to underground infrastructure being planned in 2023. End quote there. That sort of puts it into context. You know, the stuff you guys in Paycore are finding are really off the charts when you look at the in situ metals value in the rock.
Yeah, for sure. It's been, and we truly believe that the Hilltop discovery ranks as one of, if not the highest grade new discovery of 2022. It's completely open. We continue to step out both laterally and in both directions because it's relatively flat lying, the upper lenses. And with the drilling we've done in some of the other targets, we really think we're on to what we believe will eventually become a world-class deposit. And because of that, trying to build up our resources in the area to hopefully come up with a good economic plan in the next couple of years, we felt that it was prudent to have some advanced stage discussions with Paycore, and obviously we were able to come to terms, and we announced that earlier this week our intention to take over their company and expand our property significantly.
Well, that's first of all, before we get into that, the geophysical anomaly that's sitting. So you've got 3 lenses so far in this of CRD with a skarn to the east of that. And then you both companies are seeing similar kind of mineralization, Bonanza grade CRDs with overprints of high grade gold. And then right in between, totally contained on your property, is this big geophysical anomaly that just stood out like a sore thumb to me. And I think it has the potential of being the source of both of those sets of zones that you two are finding. Am I off base there?
Well, we sure hope so, or else these CRD deposits are often, you often find multiple lenses when you're in a productive area. So there'd be different zones you're drilling. Some might be vertical, some might be flat lying. And we definitely think the upper and the lower hilltop zone are both flat lying structures that we're drilling. The skarn mineralization over to the east, where we still need to do some more additional drilling to see exactly what the shape of that is, if it's really a flat lying sort of up against the intrusive target, or if it's occurring in pods. And that drill program will continue this year. And this big anomaly, the geophysics makes it look like it's a vertical target, and so we think it may be a vertical zone rather than flat lying. But the geophysical signature of the upper hilltop zone that is on the geophysics just to the north is a relatively small conductor. And then
Right.
when you look at the 4H conductor to the south, it's quite a large anomaly. So we're optimistic that we're hopeful that it becomes an even larger CRD zone. And what makes it even more compelling is it's hundreds of meters, or probably just over 100 meters away from the TL mine, which was a historic CRD mine on our property. And about 100 or 150 meters south, this target's about 100 and 150 meters south of the Helen and Holly mine. So there's 3 CRD mines wrapped around it, and right where the ridge goes into the overburden, that's where this big anomaly is. So we had a picture of some chips in our teach-in. So it is an oxidized, we believe it's a oxidized CRD zone that we've drilled. These CRD zones, when you see the oxide, you don't know if it's going to run low grade, moderate grade, or high grade. But for a first hole into a target like that, to confirm that there is CRD mineralization makes us even more excited about that target.
And that geophysical anomaly sits right on top of key faults that continue all the way on to Paycor's ground. And I noticed something else, that there was a historical hole done sort of in between the FAD zone and the border on its way to that geophysical anomaly that hits some good stuff as well. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that you could be seeing the heat engine for this whole CRD system on both of your ground.
Yeah, we hope so. And we've got we do believe that somewhere in the district there's going to be a significant porphyry. And that's something else we'll be poking around for. But maybe that's for the next conversation when we drill that target.
Well, you're not going to get that off my mind either, because Tyler Hill was pretty optimistic about that sitting right underneath the Archimedes pit. But let's get on. I know you're short for time here, Ewan, but so let's get on to the rationale of the deal. I follow both companies very closely, and I think it's an excellent deal for both companies. The Paycor shareholders get shares in i-80 Gold and the great set of assets that you guys have. And they don't have to go through that development discount window of the Lassonde curve. You guys can narrow that Lassonde curve down quite dramatically. And then from your perspective, I think it adds another element to what potentially could be one big mine, and bigger is better in the mining business. So
Yeah,
what's your feeling?
certainly if we're going to be developing a base metal facility, a facility capable of making 2 concentrates, scale is important. So with them having success in expanding that historic resource with their drill program, we just felt that the scale was right. And their majority shareholder, Waterton, is sort of unwinding their fund. So they were quite motivated to do something with their share position. And we had some discussions about that. And we said, well, instead of us just buying your position for cash, we might as well just move forward on a takeover transaction instead. And they were on board and supportive of us doing that. So we thought it was the right time to make that move. And now the combined property, we think the Paycor property is truly going to benefit from our advanced stage of permitting. If they were looking to de-water and get water rights and all the permits needed to try to build a mine over there, plus build a mill, plus build a tailings pond, probably going to be a decade. And as you know, like you say, the Lassonde curve, you get the excitement from drilling, and then stocks typically go into a multi-year hiatus as the development program goes, and then assuming mining works out, then they ramp back up. And we're very far in that advanced stage of that curve, just ramping up production, but also having exploration success. So we think their shareholders should benefit significantly from this deal as well.
Yeah, because I mean, they don't have to face that development discount window in the future, and you guys can fast track it, and you've got the facility to process it, so it jumpstarts them about 5 years into the future.
Yeah, exactly. That's and I think that's a rationale for them. We did talk to them about that timing, and Jim Gowans, who's on the chairman, was, he was cognizant of that as we discussed, should we do this transaction? And he said, at him as the owner, and Christina, who's well versed in the exploration field, both felt that bringing forward that production curve potential for their shareholders and them as shareholders was beneficial. So that was it. How about next time we'll discuss some new things in detail, because I'm sure we'll have some more assays from Hilltop and in the area, and I'm sure we can, assuming the deal closes, it's still we still have to go through the closing process, and on closing maybe we can get into a few more details.
Just before I let you go, you're busy marketing this deal. You were at the BMO Mining Conference in Florida. Now you're going to the PDAC. By the way, anybody that's going to the PDAC, go see Ewan and the team there and hear more about the story. How was the quick reaction on how the marketing at the BMO conference went, Ewan?
Oh, it was great. The deal, I believe, was very well received by shareholders, either that do own us or don't own us, by the funds that we talked to. We had a site visit that went extremely well. And at the PDAC, we're in the core shack. So if you're at the PDAC, come in and you can look at some of the core from some of these different zones we're drilling. We're not just going to have the CRD. We're going to have Carlin-style gold mineralization. We're going to have skarn mineralization. Everything will be there for everybody to see. So it'll be pretty exciting.
Talk to Tyler Hill, and he can tell him why he thinks the porphyry target is better than the 4H. I'm betting your target, the 4H, that Ewan.
Yeah, well, he'll be there. I'm manning the booth, and he can answer everybody's question.
All right, Ewan, let's wrap it up. I know you got to run. I'll just wrap it up, and if you have to run, we'll see. Okay, everybody.
And I'm sure we'll be talking soon then.
Sounds good, Ewan. So there you go, folks. i-80 Gold and Paycore are sponsors of the show, and I've had a great chance to interview them both, and I think this is a tremendously good opportunity for both companies. In the case of Paycore, as Ewan and I were talking about, they don't have to go through that long development discount window. They don't have to worry about any of that. They become shareholders of i-80 Gold, and i-80 Gold has the Granite Creek project that looks like a world-class gold project on its own right. It's getting bigger and bigger, and as they go to the north, they follow that rock package. It's wide open, and to their north is a elephant of a mine, 25 million ounces. That looks to be able to get a lot bigger. They've got the gold system at the under the Archimedes pit and to the west of it. They've got the CRD discovery. They've got the geophysical anomaly, and now that's all going to be part of one big company that has advanced permits, can fast track everything into production, and narrow that development discount window of the Lassonde curve down to, a matter of months instead of years. And I think that whole combination makes for a good marriage between i-80 Gold and Paycore. And another benefit is, I think that, the price of gold, I think, is going to start helping a lot of gold companies out. And i-80 Gold has been doing phenomenally well as the price of gold was moving up in November, December, and January. Had a bit of a lull in February. but I think we're turning the corner again. I think the selling was a short-term situation, and that the resumption of the bull market that started in November is starting to get underway. So there's plenty of catalysts out there for i-80 gold to move much higher, and as they move higher, it increases the value of the offer, because they're getting fractions of a share. 0.68 of a Paycore will get 0.68 of a share in i-80 gold. So either company, the company going up in value seems to be moving Paycore up in value of the last few days as well. So yeah, I'm a big fan of i-80 gold and Paycore, and I think that this is a great marriage that will help launch i-80 gold into a multi-billion-dollar company. Currently, they're trading at about a $700 million valuation, which really is kind of the value of the mining infrastructure that they have, let alone the quality of the project. So I think they're very undervalued, and the Paycore shareholders are getting undervalued shares for their undervalued shares. So with a stronger market for gold, I think that this is going to turn out to be a very good deal for everybody involved. On that note, as always, it's important to speak with your financial advisors to assess whether any of these companies I talk about on my shows are suitable for you, and you've got to do your homework. A good place to do your homework on both Paycore and i-80 Gold is on my YouTube channel, because I've had a lot of interviews with both companies. That's Rocks and Stocks News on YouTube. And you can listen to the conversations that I've had with management of both companies. On that note, have a great day, and we will talk to you soon.